I'm also using the new product by Xotic called the X Blender, which is a really great idea, which I've thought about for years. A lot of times guitar players prefer old vintage effects, like this tone bender, like this reverb. I have a lot of pedals at home that are vintage effects that don't have true bypass. So they are detrimental to your sound. They hurt your sound a little bit when you go through them. The X Blender kind of solves a lot of different problems. If you can see closely on here, the main feature that I like about it, it's got the big adjustable knob on the top. So I can loop whatever effect I want to. I go into the box, then out to, in this case, I go out to my little reverb, and then back from the reverb into the box, and then out. So it's like a looping box, like you would have in a looping, like in a Bradshaw looping system. But it's made exclusively for pedals. So I can, when it's engaged, I can have the pedal and I can bring my reverb either completely out, no reverb at all, or with just touch of my finger, bring the reverb in. That's the coolest thing about it, and it comes in really handy with all of the effects. Eventually, I think I'll have probably 3 or 4 of them on my board because they work really great. The sound is pure. It blends in not only the sound of the reverb, but also your direct signal in a true bypass way. So you get the pure guitar sound plus the effect. It's like having it in a nice mixing console at home, but all on the pedal board. It's also got, if you look on here, there's little switches. It's got a boost, a volume, bass, and treble. The problem with some other old effects, at home I have an old phase shifter which sounds great, but when you turn it on, the level goes down about 30%. So this remedies that because you can turn the boost up and turn the treble. Some old effects are kind of dirty. Maybe they sound a little darker than you would want. You can control all that from the X Blender as well. So it's a very useful thing to have. Plus you can just step on it and pull everything right out. That's what the reverb will sound like by itself, all on. And that blends it in, so you have more of the true guitar signal plus the reverb effect. It's a great thing. As my chain continues on, I think most of you guys are pretty familiar with everything else on here. I have a deep chorus that is a really great sounding, really. Of course, I have a light chorus that I use in stereo just for a little light, and I have various delays, and I use the delays for different reasons. I have one delay just for a vintage mono sound, the T-Rex, which you almost can barely even tell it's in there. And I also have a line 6 for the real spacious, wide delays. For the really wide sounds like that. So it's pretty simple setup straight ahead.